First, though, this morning we are joined by Oklahoma Senator James Lankford, who's making his rounds around parts of the state of Oklahoma as well. We have Big 3rd District Congressman Frank Lucas out here this morning, Senator. You're going to be bouncing around where? Elk City? Sayre?
Here in Elk City today, actually.
What do you have? Are you doing town halls also, or what do you have going on?
Yes, sir, I am, actually. That's the nice thing about August. August is the 1 month of the year that Congress does not vote, so it gives me more time to be able to travel around, do town hall meetings, be able to listen, sit in different places, just be able to talk to folks and hear what's going on.
As you travel around the state over the past couple of weeks, what are you hearing from folks in Oklahoma?
A lot of concerns about education, a lot of concerns about terrorism. People want to know what's going on in immigration. Drug policy, a lot of drugs that are moving into Oklahoma, into the United States right now. They want to know what's happening to try to stop that interdiction. And a lot of folks just concerned about the economy and where things are headed now. And obviously, everybody wants to talk about the elections in November.
So as those questions are asked to you, what are the answers that you give the folks out there to some of those important questions?
Well, it kind of depends on where they are. When you deal with terrorism, we do have some very real threats. There are folks that do mean to do us harm. And they come at us in ways that are very, very unusual from what we've seen. They do what they inspire lone wolves. Those are individuals they can find that think like they do, that already live in the United States, and try to motivate them to carry out acts of terrorism. That's very different. We talk a lot about what's going on in Syria and Iraq, and it seems like it's a long way away. But those folks all connect with people online and try to reach out to people and try to bring that same thing that's happening there to our place. And so that has to be aggressively addressed. A lot of talk about drug policy as well. I was spent last week in Guatemala, actually. Guatemala is kind of the narrow spot of the funnel where cocaine, if it's coming in from South America, all comes through Guatemala. In fact, 80% of the cocaine that comes in the United States comes through Guatemala first. And so I spent time with them and their military leadership talking about how we're going to do drug interdiction better, and what we can do to help stop the flow of cocaine before it ever reaches our shores. And then we have lots of issues with heroin and methamphetamine coming in. A lot of issues there.
What is going on? And you mentioned heroin. And we've heard a little bit about heroin, or actually quite a bit about heroin in this election cycle. Why has it gotten so bad up north, kind of northeast, I guess? Yes.
Oh, yeah. No, it's heroin's been bad all over. In fact, to the eastern side of our state, heroin's going for $5 a usage now. And it's all over the northeast part of the United States. It's really the distribution networks. The Mexican cartels that are actually moving marijuana and move marijuana and put a lot of other products into the United States are also now growing poppies and producing heroin, producing methamphetamine, and they're moving it through those same networks. And literally some of the same people that are dealing in both items. So it's been a very dramatic increase in the use of heroin and other products, but it's because they're doubling up on those same distribution networks.
Since we last spoke, there has been a pretty interesting topic that's come out in regards to cash for prisoners, prisoner payoff, whatever, paying a ransom, whatever you want to call it. You want to speak to this a little bit?
Yeah, I can, actually. It's been a big area of fought for a while with the administration. The administration, we've had a long-standing policy in the United States that we do not pay ransom money for Americans, because then that makes every American travel in the world for business or pleasure. They'll be held as a hostage, and then American money will be used to have to swap them out. So to basically protect future Americans.
I think he's gone.
I think he may have been kidnapped, and he may be being held hostage now.
I think he hit on. Let's try this again. Are you there? Okay, perfect. Perfect. Go ahead.
I was just saying, we don't pay ransom in other nation states because it puts a threat to every American as they travel until now. The administration just sent $400 million and 7 Iranian prisoners to Iran in exchange for 4 Americans holding hostage. Those 4 Americans have not been returned. We now know that for the first time, the Americans are now paying a ransom, and Iran is now looking for another $2 billion from us because they have now additional hostages that are Americans. They're saying they will release it. We'll send over $2 billion back to them. So what everyone was afraid of has already begun now with Iran. And in addition to that, every president since Jimmy Carter has not recognized the Ayatollahs and their leadership in Iran until now. And President Obama has recognized the leadership of the Ayatollahs. And it's a very different game at this point as we deal with Iran.
Can you kind of can you speak to the explanation that was given to the American public in that we didn't pay a ransom, we just happened to lease a plane that the money was on, that happened to be going over at the same time, and we understand it looked bad, but it was just that's not really the way it went down.
Look, doing that's against American policy. And
I really want to hear this. Captain, I really want to hear this. Here you go.
I'll tell you what it is. The Democrats are hacking his phone.
You think
they've got it bugged. They know what he's going to say.
Right. Well, we gave it a shot. We're going to try. Okay, we'll try this one more time. Find a tall hill.
I am looking for one. I'm between Clinton and Elk City right now, and there's not just a lot of tall hills.
Yeah, I hear you.
Occasional dips in the road.
So let's try this one more time. The explanation that was given to the American public was a bunch of garbage.
It was actually, and what the administration tried to say was that they're not paying for hostages, and then later they came out and said, well, yes, okay, it was the same day the hostages were released that actually we sent money to them, and then they shifted terms. And now the State Department says, well, that money was not hostage money. It was leverage. We want to use that money as leverage to be able to release these folks. Well, I have a friend of mine that says if it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And that's exactly what it is. We just paid money for hostages and changed American policy. So this is a big issue for us, and it is a bigger issue because it deals with Iran as a state sponsor of terrorism. Iran announced just a few weeks later, after that money was sent to them, that money would be entirely used for their military. And what's incredibly infuriating to me is this administration has cut the funding for our military, but seem to have no problem sending cash to Iran to support their military. And that's a problem to me.
Yeah, that's a good point. What is Senator Lankford going to be working on here over the next couple of weeks?
We've got several things. We've got one piece of legislation I've worked on for a couple of years now, and that's called the Taxpayer's Right to Know. It tries to deal with the duplication in government, all these different programs that are basically the same scattered around government. We can't ever seem to get rid of them. I've got a piece of legislation that we worked on for a couple of years to do exactly that. It looks like it's going to pass in September. Already passed the House. We're going to try to get it through the Senate, get it on the President's desk, and everything looks good for that on that Taxpayer's Right to Know. A lot of budget things that have to happen in September. We'll spend 5 weeks September, first week of October, trying to finish up all the budget aspects. We've got a lot of issues dealing with national security and intelligence. I serve on the Intelligence Committee and on Homeland Security, so there's a lot of immigration issues and national security issues that'll come down during the September time period. So that'll definitely keep my schedule full.
Very good, Senator Lankford. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and we'll hopefully speak to you again here in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you, sir. I really wanted to hear what he had to say about that. That's interesting. Trip to Guatemala, that's kind of cool, huh? So if you happen to be over in Elk City or Sayre today, apparently Senator Lankford's doing town halls also.